Plimoth Plantation was begun by pilgrims who were being persecuted in England and Holland, but there were people here when they arrived. The Wampanoag tribe lived on the shores of Massachusetts the day a large ship with sails came to shore. The Wampanoag were farmers, fishermen, hunters, and gatherers. In this picture, we see a young Wampanoag girl creating a fishing net. Here, this Indian boy is showing contemporary children toys that the Wampanoag made using animal bones. This is a traditional Wampanoag home. The Wampanoag would cut down trees, let the wood dry, and then start a fire in the center, just a smoldering ashes, and then put that out and dig the softened wood out of the center. And they'd repeat this process until the center of it got deeper and deeper and deeper, and in this way they would create a hollowed out canoe, and this they could use for fishing. This is the inside of a Wampanoag dwelling, and they used little pieces of wood to create beds on the edges, and then they'd cover that with animal skins and furs to keep them warm. This Wampanoag girl is making soup from the bones and leftovers of animals that were hunted, and she's cooking it in a clay pot over a fire. This is a reproduction of the Mayflower, and it is in Plymouth Harbor, about the same place that the original Mayflower came. Every Friday night in August, the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts creates a reenactment of the original pilgrims that arrived, and you can see that there were soldiers, women, and children in the group. This is a recreation of the settlement at Plimoth Plantation. The houses were made out of wood, and they had thatched roofs, and many of them were only 1 or 2 rooms tall, and they had chimneys for fire to keep them warm and to cook their food. This is an animal enclosure, much as we might use a barn or a horse stall today, and the pilgrims did create wooden fencing around it, and they had meadows where the animals could eat, and then they had barns like this where the animals could get out of the weather, because Massachusetts has snow in the winter and it gets very cold. Here's an example of the pilgrims' gardening technique. This is a picture of a contemporary woman inside of one of the Plymouth plantation homes, and she is dressed in the style of the period. She has her fire burning, and there's a basket over her head. They made baskets from the reeds near the river and used them for carrying things. They used the fire to keep themselves warm. They also used it to prepare their foods. She also has over the fire some herbs that are drying from the garden, and drying food was another way of preserving it. This is a soldier of the period, and you can see that he has a dagger and a sword. This is the fort at Plymouth Plantation. It stands at the top of the hill. That is a cannon. And underneath this fort there was a meeting place where the church sometimes met, where disputes were settled. It was like a court and was used for all different things. Here's a view again of Plymouth Plantation. It shows its proximity to the ocean, and then in the trees there was a source of fresh water, and they did have fences around the village to protect them from the Indians.